Insider's Guide. Welcome to An Insider's Guide, an educational program on Georges Bizet's renowned opera, Carmen. In this program, we will delve into various aspects of this masterpiece, including the story behind its selection, the narrative itself, the creation of its lyrics, the composition process, and the characters that bring opera to life. We'll learn the following. What is an opera? How was this opera story chosen? What is this story about? How were the lyrics written? Who was the composer? How is it composed? Who are the characters? How was the scenery created? What are some of the acting challenges? Introduction. What is an opera? An opera is a dramatic work that combines text, which is the libretto, and musical score, typically in a theatrical setting. It includes elements of theater such as acting, scenery, and costumes, along with an orchestra or backing tracks. Operas can be serious, comic, or somewhere in between, and they have been a prominent form of entertainment since their inception in Italy at the end of the 16th century. How was the opera's story chosen? Georges Bizet's Carmen is based on the novel of the same name by Prosper Mérimée. The opera was commissioned by the Paris Opéra Comique, which sought to attract a broader audience by producing works that appealed to both the working class and the bourgeoisie. The story of Carmen, with its themes of love, betrayal, and freedom, was chosen for its dramatic potential and the strong, independent character of Carmen herself. What is the story about? Carmen is set in Seville, Spain in 1820 and follows the tragic tale of Don José, a soldier who is seduced by the fiery Romani, Carmen. Despite his initial reluctance, Don José abandons his duty and his former love, Micaela, to pursue Carmen. However, Carmen's love is fickle, and she eventually turns her affections to the bullfighter Escamillo. Consumed by jealousy and unable to accept Carmen's rejection, Don José confronts her outside the bull ring and in a fit of rage kills her. How were the lyrics or the libretto written? The libretto for Carmen was crafted by Henri Meillac and Ludovic Alevi, based on Mérimée's novel. They adapted the story to fit the operatic format, incorporating songs and dialogues that captured the characters' emotions and motivations. Their collaboration involved extensive back and forth with Bizet to ensure the lyrics matched the musical composition seamlessly. About the librettists. Henri Meillac and Ludovic Alevi were a well-known writing duo in the 19th century France. Meillac was a playwright and librettist known for his witty and satirical style. Alevi, also a playwright and librettist, often worked with Meillac on various projects. Together, they combined to the success of many operas and operettas, bringing a unique blend of humor and drama to their works. About the composer Georges Bizet. Georges Bizet was a French composer of the Romantic era, best known for Carmen. Born in 1838, Bizet showed prodigious musical talent from a young age. He studied at the Paris Conservatoire and won several prestigious awards, including the Prix de Rome. Despite his talent, Bizet struggled for recognition during his lifetime, and Carmen was not immediately successful. Tragically, Bizet died at the age of 36, just 3 months after Carmen premiered, never knowing it would become one of the most beloved operas in the repertoire. How was the opera composed? Bizet's composition of Carmen involved integrating various musical styles, including Spanish folk music, to capture the opera's settings and characters. He employed a rich orchestration and created memorable melodies, such as the habanera and the Toreador song, which have become iconic. Bizet's use of leitmotifs, musical themes associated with specific characters or ideas, added depth to the storytelling. Who are the leading characters? Carmen, a free-spirited Romani who values her independence and lives by her own rules. Don José, a soldier whose love for Carmen leads to his downfall. Escamillo, a confident and charismatic bullfighter who wins Carmen's heart. Micaela, a sweet and innocent village girl who loves Don José and tries to save him from his fate. What are some of the famous numbers in this opera? The Habanera, which starts L'amour est un oiseau rebelle, is Carmen's sultry aria about the fickle nature of love. The Toreador song, Votre toast, je peux vous le rendre, is Escamillo's rousing aria celebrating the thrill of bullfighting.
Votre toast, je vous le rendre, Seigneur, Seigneur, avec les soldats. Oui, les toreros, eux s'entendent, pour plaisir, ils sont les commandes.
The Seguidilla, Près des remparts de Seville, is Carmen's seductive song to persuade Don José to release her from captivity. And the flower song, La fleur que tu m'avais jetée, is Don José's passionate declaration of love to Carmen. How is the scenery created? It always helps to know the background story of the opera you're producing, so the first thing lyrical opera theater does is to read the book Carmen was based on, which is Carmen by Prosper Mérimée. The next thing is to look at what the Carmen music score describes for each act so we can get an overall understanding. Lyrical opera theater always has some goals and parameters in mind when it comes to scenery. We aim to keep our ticket prices low for our patrons by minimizing costs in every way possible, yet produce beautiful operas with spectacular scenery. We produce scenery that is reusable after we strike it, so we create pieces that can be easily and compactly folded up and that are easy to put up and take down, cutting down on how many stagehands we need and how much they will be involved. Scenery like this vastly reduces the amount of time we must rent a venue, making it days instead of weeks that we would otherwise be building a set. Our set can generally be put up in about 3 hours and taken down in an hour and a half. Our entire set usually fits in the back of a 5x8 trailer. We want our audiences to understand what is happening by providing projected supertitles, so we use a big projection screen for our primary scenery piece, which once again cuts down on scenery and storage costs. Keeping all that in mind, we contemplate how a production can have beautiful scenery that fits the opera's descriptions combined with lyrical opera theater's parameters. Here is how it comes together. The scenery legs. These are the pieces that are hung on the battens downstage from the projection screen. We come up with an overall look that can apply to as many scenes as possible to reduce scenery costs, storage costs, and work for stagehands. For Carmen, we decided to go with archways, since they seem to be an architectural theme in Seville, Spain. We used the Puente Nuevo Ronda arches in Seville, Spain, and using this photo, came up with these legs. They will look like this on stage. The legs are set off to be printed on heavy knit fabric that is wrinkle resistant yet lightweight, that can easily fold down to be stored in small boxes. Act 1 is described as a square in Seville. On the right, the door of the tobacco factory. At the back, a real bridge. On the left, a guardhouse. The scene of the opera is in Seville around the time 1820. We scoured the internet for pictures that fit the description, searching for scenery that is from actual locations that had the correct angles to work for our projections. In this case, the Royal Tobacco Factory building still exists in Seville, Spain. Here are pictures of it. We edited the photos considering colors that look good when they are projected on the stage and came up with this. Act 2 is described as Lilas Pastias Inn. It plays in a suburban resort of smugglers. We looked around for Spanish taverns, considering what the interior of an old inn might look like in 1820, and finally combined this photo with another archway photo, coming up with this. Act 3, a wild spot in the mountains. The band is assembled within a wild mountain gorge. Fortunately, the Puente Nueve Ronda arches used for the leg archways have a backside to them that is a mountain gorge. Here are photos of it. We had to eliminate the water since we cannot have a river running down the middle of the stage and came up with this. We took out the people and the sky so we could put any type of sky needed, which in this case was sunset to night. We added a moon with a brush tool. Act 4 is described as a square in Seville. At the back, the walls of the ancient amphitheater in which the bullfights are held. The entrance to the latter is closed by a long awning. We searched Spain for bullfighting arenas that look ancient and that fit with legs and found one in Valencia, a Spanish town that is northeast from Seville. We found an excellent photo that was too narrow since we work with an aspect ratio of 16:9. We had to combine it with something else and found this area in Seville that seemed like it could work. We edited out all the people, then combined the two photos to come up with this. When we had all the scenery designed, it was time to put it into Adobe Premiere Pro to make the videos we use in the projections. Here is how that works. First, we put all the music files and scenery files that would be used into this area. Then we click on whichever file that is needed on the timeline and drag it down to the timeline in either the audio or video section. We then drag the scenery pictures into the video section. We drag the supertitle screen onto the timeline. Then we add the supertitles, translating them into this libretto as we go along. They are created as a title, then carefully dragged down onto the timeline, matching them up with where they belong in the music. This is how it looks when the editing has been completed in the timeline. Next, we go to the File menu and drop down to Export. We scroll over to Media and click on it. A window opens up and the file is exported. What are some of the acting challenges? Portraying complex emotions. The characters in Carmen experience intense emotions from passionate love to profound jealousy and despair. Conveying these feelings convincingly requires skilled acting and vocal interpretation. Physicality. Carmen, in particular, demands a physical performance, with dancing and a commanding stage presence essential to the role. Language and diction. Carmen is sung in French, so singers must master the language to deliver their lines clearly and expressively. Discussion topics. The role of fate and free will. How do the characters' choices shape their destinies in Carmen? Gender and power dynamics. Explore the relationships between Carmen, Don José, and Escamillo, and how gender roles influence their interactions. Cultural representation. Discuss the depiction of Spanish culture in Carmen and its impact on audiences both historically and today. Conclusion. Carmen remains a staple of the operatic repertoire due to its compelling story, memorable music, and rich characters. Understanding the intricacies of its creation and the challenges faced by performers provides a deeper appreciation of this masterpiece. As you watch Carmen, consider the layers of emotion, the skillful interplay of music and drama, and the timeless themes that continue to resonate with audiences worldwide. Thank you for watching Carmen, an Insider's Guide.